guys, welcome to the Connection Podcast.
In this podcast, you're going to learn more about who we are, what our thoughts are behind martial arts, and you're going to get connected to one another.
Enjoy the episode.
What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Connection Podcast. We are here with the teachers, trainers. What do you call you guys exactly? Instructors. Okay, of the Texas Black Belt Academy Fort Worth location. So what we're going to be doing with this podcast is going through. I'm not really pretending. I don't know a whole lot about what you guys do. So we're taking this from the perspective of parents kind of figuring out what is martial arts all about. Where do you guys come from? What can my kids learn from this? What do I get from this? Does that sound good to you guys?
That sounds great.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do with this episode. So if you've got questions, drop them down in the comments below. If you have for one particular instructor here, be sure to differentiate who you want to ask the question to, and we'll try to get those questions answered. So first, let's get started with give us a little bit of background on each one of you guys and kind of who you are, where you got started, and why we're even here talking today.
Well, first thing is, who wants to start?
Landon, you start.
All right, I'll start. So, of course, I'm Landon. I am the head instructor of our Fort Worth location. I've been doing martial arts for about 11 years now. Started when I was about 9. Started with karate, and then a couple of years later, I started with our jiu-jitsu program. So combined years of martial arts training is 20 years, which it's been a roller coaster, and it's been a fun ride.
So you've been doing martial arts as long as you've actually been alive?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I have. And not a lot of people can wrap their head around that, but yeah, I've got some experience with it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, mine's not very much different from Landon. I started when I was...
Name? Start with your name.
Oh, sorry. I'm Jacob.
Who are you?
Of course, I'm one of the head instructors as well at Fort Worth. Like I said, mine's not much different from Landon. The only thing is I've had a few breaks in between. So combined, probably maybe 15
years.
15 years.
Wow.
Yeah. I started off with karate, of course, and then progressed to jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
When you're talking about breaks, literally broke his arm and his collarbone. Literally had to go on a break.
Couldn't do karate.
And my wrist.
And his wrist. We can't forget
There's
about
a
that.
list.
Wow.
There is a list.
My name's Dylan. I'm actually the head assistant instructor. I've been training fully not too long. I started when I was 8, and it was just a matter of fact is my mom went, hey, your uncle owns a karate school. You want to try it out? Okay, I'll try it out. And been doing it. I took a very large gap in between just because little 12-year-old me decided don't want to do it anymore. Big mistake, but joined back up when I turned 16 and started becoming an instructor, and I've been doing that for 2 years now and loving it.
Sweet. And all you guys are at the Fort Worth location,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Yes.
Okay. So you mentioned karate, and obviously the broader scope is martial arts. Jiu-jitsu was mentioned. What other types of things are there in terms of like categories of things? I don't even know much about it.
So we have 3 styles. We have karate, which everyone's asked, what is karate? In a broader spectrum, it's a derivative. It comes from Korean Taekwondo, but we have it modified to where it has a lot of self-defense aspect. We just say karate because that's what everyone really identifies with.
Yep.
And then, of course, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I say it like it's wrestling style. Like if a fight goes to the ground, let's say you were thrown down on the ground or you trip and fall, whatever, how do you defend yourself in that type of aspect?
Okay.
Like what if someone is a lot stronger than you?
Right.
And then the third one, we actually do have a fitness kickboxing class as well, kind of mixed martial arts in a way.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
those are the 3 that we offer at our school.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. All right. Okay. So if I'm someone that is considering martial arts, what are some of the things that that you would tell me that's like you got to do it because of this, or this your kid's going to get this out of it, or you're going to get this out of it? Like what is that one? You probably all have 3 different answers, I would assume.
Oh yeah.
But what's the thing that you would tell the parent?
Well,
Why do you got to do it?
I guess I'll start on this one. So one of the big reasons why I do it, of course, the biggest one, number one, self-defense. I mean, with this day and age, there's a lot of wackos and crazy people out there. I mean, this is
I think
how it
there's
is.
always been a lot of wackos and crazy people.
Always.
Yes.
And
They're more common now.
It's just, we hear more about it now.
yes, and of course, self-defense is such a big part, especially for me. I was starting about second grade. I was bullied a lot, and I've gotten into some physical altercations at school, and then kind of going along with the bullying, I did a lot for confidence because I didn't really believe in myself a whole lot. I was pushed around. I got made fun of for my first name, my last name, my middle name, my facial features, just how I looked and everything like that. And martial arts has really brought the best out in me that I've seen. And of course, if anyone knows our story, which I can briefly explain that.
We'll get into that.
Back in my fifth grade year, Jacob's third grade, my little sister's first grade, our parents split apart for a little bit of time, and that really took a toll on all of us. And that's why my dad really started with martial arts, to have kind of like an outlet, and a safe outlet, I guess, to express all that emotion. And then when we were lucky, they got back together, and I was really inspired by that because of my father went through all that, so I kind of went after him, and of course Jacob and Gracie also wanted to do it as well, and that's one of the big reasons why I also stuck with this, because my dad has been a huge inspiration. This is for me personally. It's just a fantastic reason why, and of course all the mental benefits, confidence, focus, respect, everything in that, man, it will take you to the next level, and not only your, of course, martial arts training, but in just life in general.
Right.
That's one of the big reasons.
Very cool.
Hey, what about you, Dylan?
Well, it's just there's always been some small thing that you changed, but you never realized. The biggest thing for me was confidence, and right now I'm a very outgoing. I have no problem going up to someone and talking, but as a kid, I was not that way. I was always the troublemaker, but I was very independent. I didn't like talking to other people. I didn't like reaching out, which seems weird because I was always never in a bad mood. I just wouldn't purposely go out and seek, finding friends and all that.
Right.
And it's just, you get some things, just like I said, the biggest part of my life was that middle school age where I wasn't in karate still, but when I started when I was younger, something just changed, and I kind of been more outgoing, and I never really thought about that until just recently, because it just seems like something that just happened. But when I start thinking about the times, thinking about it, it's like it happened when I started. So just being forced to doing something in common that you have with all the other people around you, training with them, it just helps you build that energy and want to meet more people that are kind of like you, and then that just builds to a whole nother level of just being around people.
Right. So confidence.
Right.
Very cool. All right. What about you?
One of the biggest benefits that I've seen over the years is mainly our 4 core values, which is confidence, self-discipline, respect, and integrity. And every child that comes into the karate school, whether they need any of those core values or not, maybe they could be the best kid ever. They could have super laser focus, things like that. And maybe they could be struggling on 1 or 2. The reason that we have those 4 core values, of course, is for them to grow up and try to be, the best person that they can be. And like I said, I've seen it over the years. I'll give an example, of myself. When I started, I'll admit I was the troubled child out of the 3 of us. I still am to this day. There's a bunch of kinks to work out.
All 3 are brothers, right?
So we're brothers.
Okay.
He's the lone wolf. He's the cousin.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lone wolf, like I'm never around.
Okay. All right. So that way people can make that connection. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, I see a big difference. I saw a big difference in myself, training through the years, starting from white belt to what I am now, a 2nd degree black belt. Maybe I'd like to think of it, if I didn't have, karate in my life, I would probably still would be the troubled child, still causing as many problems as I did before I started. But I really feel like
So it's just toned down the amount of crazy.
It toned down, yes.
Yes, a lot.
Of course, in my mindset, I still can be a child at some points, you know.
I believe we all can.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But
And for the people watching, like, you guys are all under 20, so it's like
yeah.
I am 20.
He's 20,
right.
18,
But of course
18.
you're considered children for most people. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not. I mean, my oldest son is 10, so I mean, you're not that much older than him.
Yeah.
It's like,
That's crazy to think about now that you say
when
that.
you put it in that perspective.
When you put it in that perspective, that's a lot different.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, everything's relative, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's very cool. I really what I'm hearing is a lot of heart out of it, and that's, I guess, when I'm looking from the outside. Me personally, I took karate years ago when I was a kid, just because it was like, hey, go try this thing. Never really got into it, didn't really care. But I felt like maybe the instructor wasn't the same, didn't have the same heart that you guys have, and that's kind of what I'm hearing here is you don't really seem to be doing it just because it's like a job. Like, you're doing it because it's a lifestyle, and like you've all invested in it, and you've all grown up in it, and you've got the story of your parents and that kind of stuff, and so it really makes a difference to hear that.
Yeah. The big thing, I'm going to go back. My dad told me this one thing, and I've stuck with it ever since. And a lot of people has heard it, but I don't think everyone has. But if you really love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Mm-hmm. And for me, I don't see this as a job. I don't see it as a 9 to 5.
Right.
I see it as I'm going to go and teach what I love doing to not just my students, but to my friends, to who I consider family even. I mean, yeah, we have little 4-year-olds that we teach. We also have 10, 11, 12-year-olds. I also teach some 40, 50, 60-year-olds. And I see them as really great friends. I laugh with them. I make jokes with them. And on that connection, again, I don't just see this as a job. I don't see it just to get money. I see it as something I'm going to do for the rest of my life until I physically cannot do this anymore. Because if I can do that, because I've seen a lot of lives changed. A lot of parents' lives changed, a lot of students. I've had some parents that are doing martial arts now because their kiddos have started it. And whenever you see that happening, then you just see a deeper connection with that family, and it's a powerful thing to see. It's an incredibly powerful thing to see. And I'm not gonna lie, there are some nights where I have just gotten so overwhelmed by seeing it. It's brought me to literal tears, just because it's something that I love to see happening. That's kind of like one reason we call this, I guess we're calling this The Connection, is because there is a connection that is happening between parents and instructors, parents and students, students and instructors, parents and parents as well. Right. I mean, there's a room in our school, we call it The Connection, because parents have made friends back there, lasting friendships that are going to span years or even decades. And it's just something awesome to see.
That's cool. Yeah, I actually have a friend that takes classes with you guys. I think both of his boys do as well, but he does the jiu-jitsu stuff for the most part. I don't know if he's I guess he's at the Fort Worth location. I'm not sure. He's over off. His name's Jesse Proctor.
That sounds familiar.
So, anyways, I was just up at his house recently, and he was just telling me how, like, he's been doing it for about a year, maybe 8 months, something like that. Oh, time flies, so it could be longer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I was talking to him, and he was telling me about it, and just getting into jiu-jitsu and that kind of stuff. And I was like, that's cool, And then we were talking about it again, I guess, just recently, like a couple weeks ago, and he had mentioned that he asked if I knew who Nick and Donnie were, and I was like, yeah, I know those guys. And he's like, oh yeah, that's who I take the classes from. I was like, oh, okay, totally made that connection now. Like, So, but he's had nothing but good things to say about the process of things and
I hope
classes
so.
and all that. So
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you never know. Like, and I think that's probably another reason, that maybe a side reason that you guys wanted to do this, and that Donnie was kind of like, hey, let's talk about doing this, is because it opens up the conversation to say, like, what things can we improve on? Where can we?
Absolutely.
There's always things to improve on. And while most people aren't going to be like walk up to your face and say, hey, fix this or whatever. They might tell somebody in the connection room, like, I wish they would do this better. And then that parent's like, oh, well, let's have a conversation with them,
Yeah.
So by doing things like this, I'm hoping that, it opens up the transparency for you guys to have some of those conversations and see how, the Do you call it a studio?
Studio, school,
dojo,
whatever. Whatever
Dojo?
you're comfortable with. We've heard it all.
That one place.
That one place, the one place where they do the fighting stuff.
And
You're
Kicks
making
and
jokes about it. I've
punches.
heard it. I've heard
I'm
it.
sure. Yeah.
No, but that's really what we strive for, is just having, we want to have the relationship, yes, with our students, but also with the parents. We want them to be comfortable enough to give us feedback, because we, enjoy doing this. We want to do it better. We all have our personal reasons why we got started, but we have a lot of the same reasons why we keep going.
Yes.
And that's why we want to be able to take that and make it a better opportunity for the people we train with.
Yeah. Very cool. That's guys. I really love your heart and all this, and it's one of those things that, like I said at the beginning, I don't know a lot about it. So when I'm thinking about, are my kids going to be, what are my kids going to get out of this? What is it going to do for them? Is it just, the physical side of things? You've mentioned there's a lot of discipline involved. There's a lot of those type of things. A lot of the confidence, and I like to hear the core values. That's really cool to talk through those and kind of hear, okay, it's so much more than just, being able to defend myself if somebody attacks me, which is a pretty rare case for most people, right? I mean, pretty rare, but I feel like that's what everybody kind of like goes to when they start talking about, martial arts. And so I guess that leads to my question of, like, if I'm a parent thinking, my oldest son is 10. I've got another one that's 6. So if I'm thinking, okay, maybe my kids want to get in this, would there be like a conversation that I would have with them, or do I just like, hey, we're going to go up here and like see what this is like, like what's the first step,
I always, were you going to say something?
Go ahead.
I would say, of course, you always want to be in communication with your kiddos. I mean, that's an important one. And again, of course, I don't have any kids of my own.
Right.
Don't give me that look. I don't have any kids of my own, but of course, parents do know what is best for their kids, because kids don't have that life experience yet. And so, first step is honestly giving it a try. I mean, you can't give something a good opinion if you honestly have not tried it. And so you go up, try out a class. If you like it, hey, let's talk about this a little bit more. And it's like, when you do sign up, I mean, what you're really going to get out of it, there's like 3 big things that you're going to get out of it. One, of course, there is a physical benefit. I mean, you're going to be on your feet a lot. I mean, the classes are not just like 10 minutes. It's a good half hour. You're going to be moving around doing moves. The second one, you're going to get a lot of mental benefits. A lot of focus is going to be involved. You're going to see a lot more respect. One thing I always talk to my students, because we always do some checkups, see how they like the training. I always ask the parents, like, Mom, Dad, what do you see in your students? What's different in your students' life from now than whenever they started? And the top 3 things that I always get told is they're focusing a lot more in school, and then they're showing a lot more respect at home and wherever they go. And that is like always makes me
huge.
happy.
Yeah, that's huge.
For me personally, I always lean more on the respect and self-discipline side of things. I mean, respecting your elders, treating others how you want to be treated, just being an all-around good person, a kind person, even to those that are not so kind to you. Because it's very easy. It's easy in this day and age to treat meanness with meanness.
Right.
Like always, they did something wrong to me, I'm gonna do something wrong back, eye for an eye.
Yeah.
But if you can push past that, and those people that are always constantly being, like if someone's bullying you, if someone is saying rude things about you behind your back, if they're gossiping about you, it's hard to go up to them and be kind to them, but there's a bigger impact that comes with that. If you can push past going at them just because they went at you, and start treating them with kindness, treating them, just saying nice things about them. Oh, I don't like the way you look. Well, I think you look awesome today. I think it's funny that you do this do this thing differently than I do. Well, I'm glad that you do this thing differently than I do. Just do the complete opposite of what they do, and it's just gonna throw them off. It'll throw them off kilter.
It does totally change the conversation for sure.
It's crazy how fast that can happen as well.
It's very interesting. Yeah. Okay, well, we are about halfway, so we do want to mention our show sponsor, Marketing with Ninjas. So I know a little bit about it. Marketingwithninjas.com is the website, and that's your dad and you, and no, you.
That's all Jacob.
Right. Sorry. So can you tell us a little bit about what that does for what that is?
So basically, Marketing with Ninjas is kind of getting small businesses, kind of getting them started. Getting those advertisements out.
Because y'all do a lot with Facebook.
Yeah, we do a lot of
bots and that kind of
Facebook and
stuff.
bots and things like that. So it's kind of just getting their brand out.
Okay.
Like getting their name out there. Advertising on Facebook and other things like that. So I would say just like getting them started, helping them out a little bit.
Okay. All right, cool. So if you're a new business, if you're a small business, a local business, then marketingwithninjas.com, they can help you set up all the Facebook stuff that nobody wants to mess with, but they'll do it for you. So.
Oh, yeah. We'll get that done.
Facebook's its own demon.
It is. It's
its own
crazy.
demon.
It really is.
It's a lot of
but,
fun, though.
it's one of the things, it's another tool in your arsenal as a small business.
Oh, yeah.
And now we have access to actually, do that kind of stuff where we didn't have access before. It was, unless you had a multi-million-dollar business, good luck,
Yeah.
Right.
So very cool. All right, let's transition away from a little bit of the, hey, what my kid get out of it. I want to focus a little bit more this second part on you guys individually. What's your favorite part about teaching?
All right. I'll start. I got this.
Well, you already got something in mind. I'm gonna be thinking.
So my favorite part, of course, is getting to see my students every day. Of course, coming in, helping them out, getting their moves done. That is some of the most amazing things. But it's just interesting to get to know your students while you're teaching, and so my favorite part, like I said, them coming in, getting to talk to them, and things like that, and maybe even having an impact on them that day. So let's say they're probably having a bad day. Well, good thing about our teaching is we get to talk to them and, maybe put a smile on their face whenever they probably didn't have for the rest of the day. So, of course, my favorite part is, putting a smile on their face, brighten up their day, getting to rep moves with them, stuff like that.
You got one?
Yeah.
Okay, you go ahead. I'm like debating between two.
Okay, so it's just a matter of, just like Jacob said, we like meeting those kids, but we also like connecting them with other people. Because a lot of kids, they'll come in shy. There's a lot of students who are they come the first day, they just signed up, they're brand new, they never get on the mat. They just sit there and watch because they're just so afraid of getting on, and trying to get them just to open up and making those personal connection in the kid's life is a big thing, because there's a reason that we call it training as a team and not just our students, is because we care about each one of them personally. We don't just care about the class or how many are there. We actually want to make a difference in each one of their lives. We want them to go away with we want them to remember us. We remember their training, not exactly us as instructors, but as what we offer to them. And the same thing as trying to connect them to the parents is just, we want the parents to know that we actually care about their kids. We generally invest our time and sanity to getting them connected with others and working with them and making them the best version of who they can be.
Yeah.
For my favorite part, and what's funny about this is I actually did not want to be a school instructor. I actually didn't. My first dream job was I wanted to be a storm chaser. I wanted to go out and chase tornadoes and study that. And then
That ended quickly.
it did end kind of fast, but I'm kind of glad it did. Then it transitioned over to, again, my dad being one of my greatest inspirations, I wanted to be a youth pastor. So I was going to pursue that for the longest time. And then about the end of my junior year, start of my senior year, I went to a church camp, and that's where everything went completely 180. God really spoke to me and said, "Hey, I want you to work as a martial arts instructor. I want you to run that school with everything that you have." And I've been doing that ever since. And ever since that day, positivity for me, what I do, has gone up. I've just seen larger connections. I've seen it's just been easier to teach just because I know that what I'm doing is not just for my own. It's not for my own gain, but I'm doing everything for the Lord. Like whenever I train in classes, I listen to primarily Christian music. Of course, there's some music, but everything, like there's no explicit language. There's no behind the scenes.
So
like
it's a safe environment for
exactly
Correct.
because I believe in a area like that with the Lord having His hand in it, man, everything is just gonna go. It's been going very smoothly. Of course, there's been rocky patches. I'm not saying everything is 100% smooth.
Sure.
But every obstacle that has gone in any of our way, we've been able to overcome it with help from each other, with help from our instructors, our fellow teammates, and of course, the Lord. That's a big inspiration for all of us that we do it.
Very cool. I love that. We do have a couple comments. Lily SG. I love these kids so much.
Oh, Miss Lily.
Kiva Clay says, we love our second family. You've got Celeste Jacobs.
Oh,
That's
Aunt
Dylan's.
Mom up in the house.
She just put hearts. So I
She just
got
put hearts.
from her.
Wow. Thanks, Celeste.
Jesse Parra, Texas BBA is a great place for your child to come and build character, self-confidence, and to challenge him and her in a life and what comes to them solving problems in the best way.
Awesome, yeah.
There you go.
Mr. Jesse, his son recently just got his black belt with us.
Oh, cool.
Little Ryan.
Mr. Ryan.
And Ryan is a character. I mean, I love him to death.
Oh,
That's one of the best parts about coming to classes is seeing every time this kid walks in, he has the biggest smile on his face.
He got a goofy grin. It's awesome.
He has the biggest smile on his face. He takes a bow proudly, and he's ready for classes.
Awesome.
And that smile never leaves the entire
And
time he's there.
never leaves.
That's cool. That's really cool. Okay. So someone is, how do I want to go with this? Someone's kind of on the fence about maybe they attend another school, maybe they have attended in the past, think about coming back. What's something that you would say to them to kind of help
Motivate
them try you guys out or give them some motivation or whatever?
Let's see. That's a good question. So if like someone, let's start with like if someone went to another school, because we've had that. If you went to another school, I didn't like the instructor; it was too hard on my kid. And that's an unfortunate thing because there's a lot of traditionality out there as well with martial arts. Since it's so old, you get the traditional ones that are hard, go hard all the time. If you ever run into that, like if you went to another school and the instructor was hard on your kid, I want to let you know now, not all the instructors are like that. I promise. Like there's a lot of times where I make more jokes than I do teach in some classes, just because I want everyone to come out with a positive experience. One thing that we say to all of our students: if you had a bad day, leave it at the door. And when you leave it at the door, don't pick it up when you leave, because we all have bad days. Terrible, no good, rotten, bad days. I've had them. He's had them. He's had them. I'm pretty sure you've had them.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I know parents have had them. Kids are gonna have them.
Yeah.
But when you come in and you leave your day at the door and everything whenever you come in, it's just a fresh start. Man, your experience is gonna heighten to new levels because you don't have the baggage anymore. You're not weighed down. You can come in. You see your friends that you may have not seen all day, or if it's been a while since you've been in school, you haven't seen them in like a week. It's just going to be a lot more fun when you do that. And if you go to another, or if you're like on the fence, you may have been here before and say you had a bad experience. If you had a bad experience in the past, I'm terribly sorry. Hey, we're still learning as we're going. Like I said, I'm in my early 20s, just starting off my 20s. These guys are in their late teens. We're not perfect instructors. I'm going to say that now. We make mistakes. We still make mistakes to these days. Mistakes in our classes, mistakes on what we say, how we teach, how we handle ourselves. But I would just say, give us another chance. If you give us another chance, I promise what you saw in the past is 1,000% different than what you see now.
And also, if it was a bad experience with us,
Call us out.
of course,
Let us know,
let
yeah.
us know. Because, maybe it's something we can fix instantly, all right? Maybe it's something we can, fix,
Right.
over time. But that's why we want the feedback.
Yeah.
That's why we try to make connection as much as we can to get the feedback if they have had a bad experience.
So what's the best place if someone wanted to reach out maybe not directly to you, but what's the best place that they can get in touch? Would they call the school? Would they send them a message on Facebook? Like,
Facebook's a good one.
Okay.
Calling can be a good one as well.
Come in and talk to us.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever we're open, come in and come look at the school. We always love talking to people. I mean, everything that we do revolves around people. We're a people business.
Yeah.
So come talk to us. We'd love to see your smiles, chat, see how you are.
okay, last one. I think this might take you a minute because you've been kind of.
Oh boy.
All right. So, what's your in your years teaching? What's like your biggest case study that you can say, like, I saw this kid or I saw this person, this guy, whatever, he did this, and I saw him progress over 6 months or a year.
I got
whatever.
2 instantly.
Oh wow!
I got 2 instantly.
I was wrong.
I got 2 instantly.
I got one.
You got one. So
2 actually.
You want to
but-
start?
Sure.
All right.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to call this person out. Her name is Miss Natalie. So whenever she came in, shyest kid you'll ever see. She's quiet, didn't talk to anybody really. She was kind of like her own person. What?
I just know where this is going.
Yeah.
I think it took about a couple weeks for her to kind of get used to the school and all of that. And then we started getting closer to the new students who came in. Started talking to them a little bit more. And I think this was more of like a confidence thing. So it started off, she was shy. We started talking to her a little bit more. Now she's one of our high ranks. She's one of our leadership students. So it's probably been about a couple years. Throughout the years, she's slowly progressed to getting to know us more, talking to us more, things like that. And then now,
Can't get her to be quiet.
yeah, of course she knows when to be quiet, but
She chooses to.
She'll talk your ear off.
she will talk your ear off if you get her talking. So I think this throughout the years it was kind of a confidence thing. Sure. Of course, when you first come in, it's kind of like getting to know the school, the procedures, the flow of it, and then I guess as you start coming more and more, you get to know all of us. You get to know who's behind the desk, who's in the office, who's on the mat, and then I guess it becomes more of a confidence boost.
Right.
You gain more confidence because you do know the flow of the school. You do know who runs the school and things like that.
Very cool.
That was mine.
Cool.
So for me, like I said, I have 2, Miss Kim and Miss Jessica. They inspire me. Like I said, I've been doing this for a little while, but just watching them, because Miss Kim, when she started, she was in her 60s. She was just starting her 60s, and as she went along, of course, a lot of people have the example, I'm too old. I'm too old to do this. Why am I doing this? She never did martial arts before. And when she started, of course, it was a rocky patch at first. I mean, not having the flexibility, the movement. But as she kept training, and of course, I always mention Miss Jessica's, they started roughly about the same time. I could be off of my years, so I apologize if I am. But they trained together almost every class. Every time they came, they were always training together. And it was just a huge inspiration because they both had the determination to receive their black belt. And then whenever they did, I mean, that set in my mind, okay, their age is not an excuse now.
Right.
Like, I even tell that to my parents. Like, we've had 60-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, anything. We've had even like little 8-year-olds get their black belts. And it's just been a huge inspiration for me just to keep going and to keep training. And of course, Miss Jessica now, she is the owner of our Saginaw school. She just opened up her own school with her 2 kiddos and her husband. And it's just a huge inspiration to see. Because again, I'm 20 years old, about to turn 21. And just all the stuff I've heard from them. Because of course, Miss Kim, her 2 grandsons did martial arts with us. And just seeing all of them, how they communicate, how they're training, it just opens my heart and opens my mind just to do this a lot more with greater intentions going forward.
Very cool.
Yeah, and I do want to say one thing about Miss Kim. She had so much dedication during her black belt test that, let's see, she did not want to stop at all. until she had to. And what I mean by she had to stop, she literally had to sit down. And we had to call an ambulance.
She
to
passed out
Yeah.
near the end of her black belt test.
That's how much dedication she had, and that inspired, I believe, every black belt that was there.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It was she didn't stop until she had to.
Yeah.
So that's it's crazy.
Her body literally gave out on
Yeah.
her, and it was like that's never happened in any of the black belt tests I've been to. Okay, out of like the 20 or something I've been to, never happened.
Right.
And then that happens, like that's incredible.
That's determination.
That is determination, right?
If you
there.
leave a black belt test in an ambulance, you deserve to have it.
You deserve to have it.
You deserve it.
I would agree with that. Awesome. Very cool stories.
You know, it's a little bit harder of a question for me because I haven't been an instructor as long as these
Right.
guys have. There's a lot of students who I haven't seen as much. There is one student who I remember, it was right after I first started. And I'm not going to lie, I remember her because she came in one time and she had a broken arm. So it was a long time she trained, she did push-ups. And then she came in another time and she had a sprained ankle. And she came in several times with a sprained ankle. She was still a white belt. Her name was Brooklyn.
Yep.
And her story is a lot like Natalie. She came in just very, you could approach her, like she would talk to you, but she would never willingly start a communication, you know? Every time she did something, because, you know, one way we teach our confidence is to get them to be loud. You know, every time we do a move, we have something called a kill, which is just making noise.
Right.
And that was one thing that I try to work for a lot, is just getting that confidence level up, because she was very quiet. You know, she's a very smart girl. Very, you know, she's
smarter than me.
Yeah.
She's smarter than probably all of us.
She clicked real fast. She really liked doing it, but it was very, she just didn't seem confident in herself. Right. And there's that one thing, though, just like Natalie, seeing that confidence build up throughout the year, because now she's just got her red-brown belt, so been a hiring for just a little bit. It's just really just seen a tremendous change from.
Very cool.
Because now she's one of those. Yep, she will talk your ear off.
Yep,
if you
she
let her
will.
give her the chance.
Her and Natalie are best
But,
friends.
yep.
Get them in a room together. Oh boy.
Oh boy, that's awesome.
I am with the crowbar.
All right, guys, we are going to wrap up here. I appreciate all of y'all's heart in it. I appreciate the information. If you could just tell people where they can get more information, kind of like how the getting started process works, kind of just give them some 1, 2, 3 steps.
Very simply, go to our website, txblackbeltacademy.com or txbba.com. And of course, you can choose what location you need to go to, and then just very simply follow the steps. If you need to give us a call, man, anytime, we'll be happy to talk to you. I mean, again, we love talking to people. We'll talk your ear off if we have
What's
to.
the phone number?
For our school, 817-346-2323.
Okay, very cool. All right, Landon, Jacob, Dylan, appreciate you guys. Thanks for answering my questions.
Thanks
Giving
for
me
having
some
us.
kind
Yes, sir.
of like
Thank you.
I don't know. It's been interesting. I'm really thinking now about my kids because
You want to come try a class?
yeah. Well, because I see that like with them. I mean, my oldest is very outgoing. Like wants to be on stage everywhere. My middle one doesn't want to talk to anybody. And so like they're polar opposites, you know, but I could see some of the things you said, I could place them, you know, in how they would react to those situations. So pretty interesting. So anyways, we will be back again in 2 weeks. We are also throwing this up on Spotify, Apple, all that stuff's coming out pretty soon.
There we
So the audio version will be available. Again, it's brought to you by the Marketing with Ninjas, marketingwithninjas.com. So if you need anything related to Facebook ads or small business startup type stuff, then be sure to hit them up as well.
Well,
Until next time, we are done with the Connection podcast, and everyone have a great day.
have a great day.
Listening.
Don't get sick.
Oh man,
I'm going to
we
cause a
managed to
riot.
stay away from that the whole time.
I didn't say the name, though.